Well, this is going to be a first. I'm going to try and do this from my car, actually. And I have no emblems of anything in the pictures for anything that could be construed with anything else. Just in saying this, I'm going to put this one on and be like, this is a little bit of a domestic situation for the possibility of civil unrest in the USA. I've also been told that I'm not allowed to post anything by some drive-by media, let's say, that you can't say civil war or can't say civil unrest, but the political tense situation, shall we say, of how the people in government, yes, Donald Trump is going to go to Fort Knox and try and see if the gold is in there. That is going to be probably the biggest populist button out there. But what I can say outside of that is that in the last administration, I think he got a little close to some people that he might have been playing fast and loose with. And he's been getting rid of them during the Biden time and his last 4 years before that and the end of it. This could lead to him possibly having something of a connection to Tren de Agra. And moving along with that, a few pieces of the Mussolini mob who have just tried clearing themselves at a couple of the clubs that I've gone to. You can be like, they're a little shady, they're a little seedy. Okay, it's obviously where a fat guy like you would go to because, you know, you're useless. But basically from this one person who's on the blank of a government that's working, that's been long-term deployed, has gone on about the situation when they were actually using what I guess you could say is drones in the 1980s to target certain businesses because one or two ethnic people were there. And only the situation is that they had to have kids there. I was used as basically a kid to be there, known about at the front door and everything. And yes, she brought up how she was talking to a person back there. She was a teenager and, young adolescent, about 10 or 12, at this one bar, eatery establishment, a little bit more than, I'd say, Applebee's. Not an Applebee's, but just insane. She went on about that very heavily, very everything else. Shortly after this and right before then, the big bosses of Trend that I know from the local area since high school and middle school came in and kind of like had their meetings and were just meeting with family, as they said. And then they used the whole situation, being USA citizens, to get themselves deported south of the border without any form of legal restraints, when they're totally affiliated with World War II from the Isle of Great Britain on down through France and into North Africa and Italy. And we're underneath the Mussolini banners, not the Hitler, since Hitler was basically just his police commissioner or Joint Chief of Staffs for the military. Moving on from this, they have now tried to recreate a new situation with the area, and they are in bed with people from the Democratic Republic of Congo to Cameroon, which were some of the main players back in the 80s with trying to get into Oak Ridge from African areas. Yes, I'm in the South and I have an accent. And I went to this other club right down the road from him. This one guy I only identify as Mordello has pretty much been screwed by these people over and over. And their big thing is trying to run cover for the Mussolini family. And they were giving them, some of the girls there, you know, it's like, well, I understand you got to wait on the tables and everything else, but here, let me just give you like, you know, $10 because it's slow. Here, let me just give you another 20 to sit here and talk with me. I just want you to sit here and talk with me and let me give you some more money. And they were going on about that, and it's like one of the guys was like, you know, she's got to go to, here's 20. And it's like they weren't doing anything. They weren't, you know, playing around, doing something else, going to the bathroom, getting blowjobs or something prostitution-like, or passing drugs around. And it's like he just wanted to pay the person there, and it's like, you're really good therapy. And I just wanted to talk to somebody. And it was pretty over the top, a little crazy for it, but with everything being said, but it was a complete replay of the 1980s, and I'm saying that this one is possibly a smokescreen that's going to be put out there. And due to the fact that I have this one person who was the 12-year-old way back when, and I was the 6 or 7-year-old way back when, and I will just say, them having their number in my phone, whoever's hacking around through it, has a really bad bleed over thing. And they are totally trying to sell this as basically a jungle war that needs to go to Africa, knowing about how bad Vietnam was for us and the loss of life. And it is completely being put out by the Mussolini family. Now, I will say that there are some other domestic issues, and these people have gotten very much into politics and are pushing major buttons. But with everything being said, it's getting really interesting here domestically. I will say I've gotten a few other like warning things, and some people have tried doing the sleep deprivation thing, and it's getting a little bit better. But I've been told that I need to go to California really bad, just so I can see how it really is. And you know, maybe something will happen from it. But moving past there and everything else with it, what was that other little point that I was going to make so important here? I've hit the gold, hit the trend coming back and forth, which it seems like it's also a smokescreen for trend, which has a really big implication down south that I'm going to have to do a whole really good video on. But that would be later. And I've hit this little smokescreen. Oh, that's what it is. A lot of the videos from the riots, especially when it's like the standalone situations, like they're filming from seems almost like a tripod, and they're like in March formation or V formation. And even like one of them where it's like there's this guy walking around where these people were eating in this open balcony, or they were saying white privilege, white privilege, white privilege. A lot of those are actually being found out to be faked, where certain members of the Mussolini family or else filmed with people from the 1980s that are long since dead on both sides of the situation. And they are turning out to be looked at as fake, CGI'd over the people, better than anything with ChatGPT. And they didn't have to wear the blue suits with the little balls all over them. It just took them, replaced the voice, and replaced the video over it. Right? Person for person. And it's turning out to be several of these like little hipster Mussolini family members. And I will say I was very close to one of the sources. And while I cannot talk to him in any way, and we were separated out very quickly after about a month of being around each other for almost a year. And rarely saw him and couldn't even conversate. But it came up through basically him talking with other people and me watching them talk. And then 2 or 3 people on one of these little places, let's say on the shadier side of town or the scruffy east side, showed up. And it's like, did you really see that? Yeah. Here's what it is, and it's like it's something from up above sending a signal down, and then they stopped the signal in it, and all the people changed to the real people. Things are getting really interesting with how some of these situations for the riots have been faked and are being done. So, just in saying, I think it's going to get interesting here. Twilight Prepper, over and out.